Thank you for joining our session on Rethinking Contact Centre Operations in the Cloud. My name is YY, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Glenn. And we are both cloud architects from AWS Professional Services, where we help our customers achieve their business outcomes. And today, I'm glad to share that we have one such customer here with us, Siva, lead consultant from NCS, who will be sharing with you later on about their contact center experience shifting to Amazon Connect in the cloud. All right. So this is our agenda for today's session. First, we'll be going through some common questions and challenges of traditional contact centers. After that, we'll share about how Amazon can help. After that, NCS will share with you their contact center transformation journey, and we'll share with you about contact center ops, which is essentially how do you scale your contact center with DevOps. After that, we'll end it off with a demo of how that all works. Okay, so before we continue, I just want to share with you some of the most common questions that we get when talking to customers about their contact centers and about customer experience in general. So everyday businesses are trying to improve the customer experience for their contact centers, and these are some of the most common questions that we get. For example, how do you improve your customer satisfaction scores for your contact centers? And how do you introduce technologies like artificial intelligence, like machine learning, when at the same time you're also trying to think about things like platform stability, like large upfront costs? You don't want to incur those large upfront costs when you're thinking about all these questions. All right, so you have known that you want to improve your contact center customer experiences, but often there are some challenges associated with traditional contact centers that can hinder you from achieving that goal. So here, the first challenge that I want to talk about is the inability to scale up and down easily for traditional contact centers. So of course, because traditional contact centers are mostly on-premise, this means that a lot of these have to do with hardware, and as with all hardware, I'm sure as you know, that takes time to provision, takes time to set up, and it's not like a one-click thing. The second challenge that I want to talk about is how traditional contact centers may be unable to access more advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, like machine learning, because you essentially get what you get is out of the box. You just get standard call capabilities and nothing else. All right, so the last challenge that I want to talk about is that it may be complex and expensive to integrate to systems of record. So this is where it's not just about the advanced technologies. Maybe you just want to do something basic. You just want to integrate to get data insights for your contact center. Maybe you just want to integrate to a case management system, something simple like that. But that in itself may even pose challenging for traditional contact centers. All right, so we've talked a bit of the problems of traditional contact centers. Let's now talk about the solution, which is Amazon Connect, our 100% cloud-based contact center solution. So it's actually built from the ground up with AWS technologies and infrastructure, which means that it's incredibly robust and flexible. And coupled with the fact that it has pay-as-you-go pricing, this means that you can really focus on your own innovation without having to worry about things like large upfront commitments. All right? So remember that the first challenge we talked about just now was scalability. So with Amazon Connect, you really don't have that issue, because if you want to scale up your contact center, for example, to do some testing, right, you can easily just do it with a few clicks, spin up a new Amazon Connect instance, and then when you don't need it in the next moment, you can spin that all right down. All right, and the second challenge, remember we talked about, is how it's difficult to access more advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, like machine learning. But with Amazon Connect, that's where it really shines, because it's easily integrated with artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies to provide you with dynamic, personal, and natural contact flows. So we'll see more about this later on in the session, where we also share a few things like contact lens for sentiment analysis. Okay, the last challenge we talked about just now was how traditional contact centers may find it more difficult to integrate to systems of record for data insights, for case management. So with Amazon Connect, again, you don't have that issue, because it really is an open platform where you can easily integrate to the rest of the AWS ecosystem, as with all AWS services. So this means that you can do things like advanced data analytics, the way that you choose, and much more. All right, so just to extend on the solution just a little bit, I want to highlight this Amazon Connect Cases, which is a feature that was launched just recently in the Singapore region just early this year. So as the name implies, it's used for case management. So traditionally, with your traditional contact centers, like I mentioned before, it may be difficult to integrate to systems of record, like case management systems. But with Amazon Connect, as you can see here, this opens up the possibility where the agent is talking to the customer, they can easily just pull up all the case records, take the case notes here, and I'll direct you to the bottom section. They can even check the previous history of interactions for the customer. On the left side as well, they can even create tasks that are associated with this particular claim. So all of this can be done straight up in Connect itself without having you to go and purchase and integrate an additional system just for the end-to-end customer journey. Okay, and I think we've talked enough about the theory for now. I'm sure you're excited for the demo, but before that, let's invite a real customer up on stage to talk to you about their contact center transformation journey. Siva, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Siva. I'm from NCS, and I'm here today as an AWS customer to tell you about how some of their cloud services has helped us in our contact center transformation journey. So for the agenda today, I'll be going through the background, some of the challenges, why did we choose AWS, some case examples, benefits achieved, and the vision. So before I dive in, let me provide you a brief overview of NCS. So we're a multinational infotech company that serves government and enterprises across APAC. So as part of our business solutions, we provide managed contact center services. So on that note, allow me to discuss some of the key business challenges encountered when managing contact center services. Right. So before I begin, I'd like to give you some context about what exactly is telephony infra. So in fact, most contact centers today, they're actually still on-prem, and that requires infra. So typically, this includes your hardware, your connectivity to your telco providers, your networking, your software and licensing, and so on. So all this makes up a robust infrastructure. Right, so aside to this, you also need people who are skilled in the relevant domains to ensure that your contact center services are running as required. So as part of our digital transformation, we wanted to fundamentally change how we deliver value to our customers. So there were a couple of questions we were asking ourselves, how do we stay current? So staying current with new technology sometimes can be costly, or expensive. And we wanted to, keep pace with advancements. So then we asked, so how are we going to harness this new technology? So we focused on solutions that was agile, modular, of course cost-effective, and wanted to ensure seamless integration with our existing systems. So then we started to do, an impact assessment of all these challenges. So if you look at the market today, especially in the past year, there has been a lot of talk about AI ML. Right, so if you notice, all the big players have come up with their own AIs, including AWS. So imagine if you are restricted to such, emerging technologies. So we didn't want that, to hinder us. So we wanted the ability to remain current and competitive. Right. So aside to that, we're also looking at, the lack of modularity. So at the end of the day, we didn't want to limit our ability to leverage on market tools. Right. So of course, security. At NCS, we serve a lot of government customers. So there was a lot of emphasis on ensuring that data was geo-fenced within Singapore. And there was a priority to maintain privacy and compliance. Legacy systems, right? So if you've been in the IT industry long enough, everybody has got their own legacy system somewhere. And our objective was to prevent disruptive overhauls while modernizing our infrastructure. So, then begs the question, so why AWS? So why did we choose Amazon Connect? So Amazon Connect is a great product, right? So if it wasn't a great product, I wouldn't be here talking to you as a customer, right? So it was attractive, but the real game changer was the ability to leverage on the AWS ecosystem. And we felt that integration with our own in-house tools, will allow us to create distinct solutions, which we hope will keep us, apart from the competition. Right, and like I mentioned earlier, the prevailing trend in the IT industry today is all centered around AI ML, right? And it was technology that we were eager and keen to use. So when we onboarded to Amazon Connect, it was a very seamless process to leverage on machine learning and analytics, and we were able to enhance and optimize our services. So next, I wanted to share some of the outcomes we quickly achieved, when we moved to Amazon Connect. So in this particular case example, we wanted insights into the call and customer sentiments. So we used a module called Contact Lens in Amazon Connect, right? So if I could focus your attention to the middle of the screen, you can see something called customer sentiment. So at a glance, you can tell, was the call generally positive or generally negative, right? So you can see from the green and the reds. And if you are, someone who does QC, you could easily zoom into the parts that, where the call didn't go well, and then you could just listen to that segment, right? So, and in terms of agent compliance, you can create rules to see, did my agent say good morning? Did they say good evening, right? And, and so forth, right? So, moving on to my next case example. So this is post-call survey with analytics. So, one day, one of my customers, came to me. He says that, I want to monitor how your contact center experience is with my users. So we suggested post-call survey, and we implemented it on Amazon Connect. But then we wanted to do some analysis on the survey results. So, like I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why we chose Amazon Connect was also the ability to leverage on their vast ecosystem. So in this case, what we did is we piped the post-call survey results to a tool called QuickSight, right? And then from there, we were able to tell or to come up with a simple analytical dashboard that told us, so how many surveys were done, how many were positive, how many were negative. And you got a donut chart to tell you, what are the areas that we could zoom in and, enhance on. So moving on to benefits achieved, definitely, there has been improved operations. Accelerated onboarding time, there's been improved customer communication and of course, reduced cost. So in terms of rapid scaling, initially when we wanted to move to Amazon Connect, we were looking at a 6-month migration timeline for 40 over projects. But we were able to, complete this migration in just 3 months. And in terms of business expansion, so AWS and Amazon Connect is a global product, right? So they have a global reach, and it was very easy for us to extend its usage to our operation units in Southeast Asia, and we continue to grow steadily. So in conclusion, I wanted to thank AWS for their exceptional services and inviting me to speak today. And their cloud solutions have been instrumental in helping us in our contact center journey. And I look forward to continuing our partnership in the future. Thank you.
Yep, let's see how we can scale our contact centers, as Siva mentioned. Scaling is when you find yourself deploying your contact centers to multiple AWS accounts and environments. For example, you might have a development connect instance to test changes before they are pushed to production. This is where contact center DevOps or contact center Ops can come in handy. So one of the motivations for contact center Ops is, what happens if you have multiple environments? How do I make changes confidently and consistently across these environments? In addition, what if I have multiple team members working on different features? How can I test these features concurrently without overriding each other's changes? Finally, as Siva shared, you may have many different integrations like Contact Lens, QuickSight. How do we track all these integrations in a single pane? So this is where Contact Center Ops can come in handy. First, we use infrastructure as code to define all our integrations and to connect configurations in a single template. This is fed into a pipeline that is repeatable. Within the pipeline, it detects whenever you have made changes to the template. And we can add an approval step as well to have a colleague vet our changes before changes are rolled out from development to production. Finally, all our different integrations are checked in the template, and whenever we make changes, we have an audit log that tracks the history of changes in a commit history or submission history. So this is how the infrastructure as code can look like. First, we have a tool, AWS CloudFormation, and it supports JSON and YAML. And with just a few lines of YAML, we can define our contact center in the cloud and deploy it within just minutes. So first, we take the CloudFormation template and we put it into a pipeline. This pipeline has a version control system, in this case, AWS code commit. We can optionally add a code build step that does security checks against our template before it gets pushed out to deployment step. We can also have the approval step. So when all is good, we can finally have our contact center deployed as shown over here. Now, what if we have multiple AWS accounts? That is possible to orchestrate as well. We can deploy to our workload account over here and have all our different service integrations. For example, Amazon Comprehend for sentiment analysis for our callers, or Amazon Lex to have answers to common questions automated. We can also have Kinesis and CloudWatch logs for automation. So we prepared a demo for today for any company, a fictitious company where we will show how contact center operations are managed in the cloud. Before I start, we will first deploy a CloudFormation template in real time. Yep, so in the console over here, I'll navigate to CloudFormation. And in CloudFormation, I'll go to Create Stack. I'll upload a template file. Next, I'll give the file a name. Change the environment to a test environment. Next. Next. So remember this step because we'll get back to this in the second part of the demo. So I click Submit. So with that, we have our CloudFormation template deployed. So now let's walk through the background of what any company's Connect infrastructure looks like. First, they have one Connect instance with a contact flow. And a contact flow is basically what end users will experience when they call in or chat with Amazon Connect. In this case, we specify the company's operating hours. We first check the hours of operation. If it's within hours, we greet users and then route them to an agent. If it's outside of office hours, we'll notify users that they're calling outside of office hours and that they can try back again within office hours. In addition, any company wants to have an audit log of all the chat transcripts with Amazon Connect. This is stored in an S3 bucket. And then there's also a requirement to encrypt all these chat transcripts with a KMS key because these chat transcripts could be sensitive. So I'll now hand over the time to YY, who will go through the first demo.
So now let's see contact center ops in action. But before that, let's first imagine that we are all contact center managers. So one day we get a message from our boss looking like this. He asks us to change our operating hours from the next week. And when our users dial in, we must let them know of this change before they can speak to our agents. Okay, how will we do that? And this is our current hours of operation that we need to change. It's from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays. Nothing much here, quite standard. And this is what we expect. We want to change it to 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. So we essentially want to shift it an hour forward. Let's see how we can do this in the Amazon Connect console. Right, let's navigate to our development instance to make the change. And here, let's navigate to the hours of operation you saw on the slide just now. Office hours, 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. And now I want to make the change. All we have to do is click on this edit button right here. And then just make it 8:30 to 6 p.m. Very straightforward. So if you want to do it for the rest of the weekdays, you can just populate that. I'm not going to do that now because I'm sure you get the idea. All right, so hours of operation, done. Now remember that besides that, we also want to update our contact flow. So this is our contact flow, which is our call flow logic. And essentially all you need to understand here is that it checks whether the user is calling in within the hours of operation that you saw just now. And if they call in within the hours of operation, it goes to the top branch where it says welcome and so on and so forth, and they can talk to the agent. If they call outside of hours, it goes to the bottom branch, and then they tell them, sorry, too bad, call back later. So, and then it disconnects. Very simple flow. So this is how it sounds like. It says, welcome to any company hotline. Please hold while we direct you to an agent. Okay, and this is the ideal updated flow. All we want to do here is that all we need to do is add this block, just this one highlighted block, and that can achieve what we talked about, to add the new operating hours before they can speak to the agents. So let's see how we can do this in the console as well. Navigate to flows, and then main flow. So this main flow is exactly what you saw in the earlier slide just now. And all we're going to do here is we're going to drag out the block that was highlighted, this get customer input block. And I've placed this gap conveniently right here, so I can put the block in between. And all I need to do is connect the lines. So I'm not going to complete all the lines right here in this demo, but I'm sure you get the idea. It's very straightforward to use this UI for Amazon Connect to do your changes to your flow. So the end state looks like what you saw in the slide here. And then what you will hear with this new updated flow is our new operating hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. from Mondays to Fridays. To speak to a customer service officer, press 0. So this is the end state of that flow. And as you can see, that was very simple to do. So this means that you don't need your developers to go and make these changes. You can do them by yourself. But I want to pose this question right now. What if you have multiple environments? What if you have your staging environment, production environment? What if you have sandbox 1, 2, 3? Are you going to go into the environment like I did and make all those changes, connect all the lines again and again? Well, I mean, of course not, because today's talk is about DevOps. So let's go and see the pipeline right now, and let's get Glenn back on the stage.
So remember our version control system where we are tracking changes to our files. So let's navigate to that. So in code commit, we have created a repository. This stores all our files, all our infrastructure as code. I'll navigate into that. We can see that we have a file here, contactcenter.yaml. Let's enter into that. And then we can click edit. For this particular demo, we have already prepared the template, so I'm just going to insert it in. Over here, enter a name. Okay, and then enter a commit message. And then commit the changes. So once the changes are committed, we can actually view what was changed. So on the left, I'll go to commits. So we can see that just now we've updated the hours of operation and contact flow. Let's click into the commit ID to view the changes. So we can see in the past, the red is what was previous, the office hours are changed to new hours. And we can see that 7 p.m. is now changed to 6 p.m. And from 9:30, we are now at 8:30. And this is replicated across Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, without us having to manually go into the console. If I scroll all the way down, we can see that there are some changes to our call flow as well. So over here, we notify that it's currently closed and our new operating hours are from 8:30 to 6 p.m. These are all defined in the template and you can actually view these differences. Optionally, at the end, you can also add a comment to comment on these changes if you are reviewing these changes. Now I'll head over to the pipeline. And we can see the pipeline is now in progress. It has read the changes, which is our file that we just edited, and it has deployed to our development environment successfully. So let's take a look at those changes. So back in the Amazon Connect console, I'm going to be navigating to the Development Connect instance. Over here, like what YY showed earlier, we can view the hours of operation. And now it's been updated to new hours. Clicking into it shows that it's now 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. across all the days. And if I navigate to the contact flow, we can also see the ideal end state where we have our extra new block to tell customers about the new operating hours, as you can see over here. So with that, all the changes look good, the code has been checked, the deployment to development has succeeded. Let's deploy it to production now. So I'll navigate back to code pipeline, and in the approval step, I can add a review. Let's approve it. So with that approved, it will kick off the next step, so let's give it a while. Optionally, we can also click view details to see what was some comments. So approve once UAT has been completed, and this is the reviewer for this particular request. So I can close this, and we can see now it's deploying to production. So while waiting, let's check the production Connect instance. So over here, navigate to production. And let's go over to hours of operation. We can see that the hours have been updated to new hours. And it's from 8:30 to 6 p.m. across all the days without us having to enter the console. The contact flows have also been updated. So if I go to flows, any company main flow, we can see that there is the prompt now to tell customers about our new operating hours. So with that, we successfully fulfilled our colleague's request. But wait, hold on, we are not done yet. We have a new request from another colleague, Richard. Hi Glenn, I'm working on some new features, and he's aware that YY is also making some changes. How can he make his changes concurrently without overriding YY's changes, for example? So this is where our first template that we deployed earlier comes into play. So let's navigate over to CloudFormation. So remember when we first deployed, we named our stack Contact Center New Requests. So let's see some of the resources that were deployed by this stack. So I'll navigate over to resources. And we can see that we have our Connect instance created over here. We have also our Connect users created. We have our contact flow created as well. If I scroll all the way down, we also have some S3 buckets created. So let's see these deployed resources. So back in the Amazon Connect instance, I'll click refresh. We can see that now we have 3 Connect instances. Let's go over to the test one that we just provisioned. Within that, we can go to data storage, and we can see that now we have an S3 bucket to store chat transcripts, and this is encrypted with the KMS key as per any company's requirements. Now let's log in to this Connect instance. So I'll navigate over to hours of operation once again. And we can see that now we have the new hours, everything replicated just like that when we deployed just minutes ago. Again, our contact flows will also be reflected over here as any company main flow with all the changes replicated. So we've seen how DevOps in the first demo can help us replicate our changes from our development environment to our production environment with an approval step. We've also seen how infrastructure as code can help us automate the deployment of our contact center in just minutes with all the different integrations. So for all this code, we've actually uploaded it online. So please feel free to scan the QR code or visit this link, and you can give these templates a test run. We also have instructions in our GitHub repo. If you have recommendations and ways to improve it, we welcome contributions as well. So another great learning opportunity is skillbuilder.aws, where there are over 600 online digital courses and labs to sharpen your AWS skills. You can test your expertise by doing AWS certificates as well to get industry recognition. So thank you for attending the summit. We welcome feedback to find out about the topics and AWS services that you'd like to know more about. So please do take time to fill out our session survey and let us know your thoughts. Once again, on behalf of the team, thank you for attending the talk. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or topics that you'd like to discuss. Thank you.